This is a video that I made some time ago, but I never put out because I dissociated like really hard at the end, and I never really finished making my point. So I'm gonna have another go and see if I can clarify some things and maybe put more of an end into this. I remember once I was having a conversation with someone, and I talked to this person more than once, which is unusual for me because I don't tend to carry on relationships with people. I spoke to this person more than once, and she said to me, "You never say that you love anything. You just say that, oh, that's interesting all the time." And this is really one of the first pieces of feedback I'd ever had from anyone, because when you don't talk to people much, you don't tend to get much feedback, so you don't tend to get much reflection about who you are. So when she said you always just say things are interesting, I thought that was interesting. And that leads me on to a topic of emotional voicelessness and how it can inhibit schizoids from forming opinions, expressing opinions, and being seen as normal in social settings. So pretty early on, I noticed that I was finding it difficult to form opinions. Like someone would be like, "Oh, what do you think of this picture, or what do you think of this other object or this other object?" Insert object, yeah. And I would just like be blank inside. Like I really wouldn't have any opinion about it. Like I found it, I don't know, it's alright, it's fine, it's quite nice, you know, or yeah, this comes from schizoids being emotionally detached from the physical world, so it's difficult for us to emotionally connect with opinions about the physical world. It's not that nice, really vague, and I put that down to the Alexithymia, which is an inability to read one's own feelings and emotions, and also down to the fact that being schizoid, it's difficult to have any value on things that are in the external environment in an objective way. So it can take a long just really want to say here that by not having like emotional values about things in the external world doesn't mean that we don't have like cognitive values of things. So it's maybe harder for us to value physical objects, but it's easier for us to value things in terms of thoughts and ideas and making connections in our own mind. So just to make the point, time to like form opinion in an objective way. So it can take a long time to like form opinions about things, like what you think is good or bad, or what you think looks nice or doesn't look nice, especially when there's no right or wrong answer. I always like maths because with maths there's a right or a wrong answer. You know that 2 + 2 = 4, but if somebody asks you your opinion of whether something looks nice or not, I mean, how do you judge that without feeling? It's quite difficult because it's like no real objective measure. So with schizoids, what we do is we tend to intellectualize things and use rationalization to distance ourselves from our own emotions. And this is part of the reason why when it comes to making emotional judgments, it's much more difficult for us. And yeah, so I think really that as schizoids, because we're more cerebral, tend to be more cerebral, because we're more cerebral, so what happens sometimes, I do disassociate. I think I've lost my thread there.
Yeah, so I didn't come back in this moment. So basically I think I've interjected the point that makes this ending make sense, that emotional voicelessness is something that inhibits us from making emotional judgments and participating and forming opinions in conversations. However, we do intellectualize things and we can have cognitive values on things, and we can form opinions more related to ideas or philosophical concepts more than objective and physical objects. So we're more subjectively opinionated than objectively opinionated. So I hope that makes some sense.